I'm Jaden.
I'm Justin from Dirty Honey, and you're watching We Go to 11.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
Hey, so you guys have a show coming up in Portland on the 25th. So it's like the weekend after Thanksgiving. So I'm sure it'll be well attended. You guys have done some shows out in the Northwest. How have those been for you guys?
They've been awesome. I love the Northwest. We played Spokane last year, City Factory. It's packed. I always love doing Seattle. It's always really good up there, actually.
Right. So
cool. It's a little cold, but I like all the trees.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. We got lots of that. It's a little bit cool, but if you guys like the cool weather, well, you guys will enjoy the time out here. You guys have a new record out, and in fact, I think today's the release date, right?
Yes, sir.
So how timely is this? We're talking to you guys about the new record. You guys went back to well, first of all, title of the record, Can't Find the Brakes, but you guys also went back, I think, to familiar territory to cut this one. So tell us a little bit about that.
The Australia trip.
Yeah, we went to Ballroom, Australia, which is where we made our first EP.
Right.
And probably made the last record there also if the pandemic hadn't happened. But yeah, it was really great to be back there. It's very tropical and beautiful and inspiring. Like,
we had a beach within 3 block from our Airbnb, coffee right in front of the Airbnb.
And then the studio is like actually out in these hills, and it like overlooks the Shire, and there's like animals fighting in the backyard that you've only like seen on TV or read about in books.
Had some wallabies.
Yeah, some wallabies.
Oh geez.
And he's got a great studio, and Nick's a whiz. So we were really happy to get back in there, and because just being in the room with somebody is such a different experience than trying to make a record over Zoom and be creative, because it's not just about like when you're like in the room making the record, but it's also about like time spent outside of the room and connecting and talking about ideas, and that helps you shape the record.
What was the length of time that you guys had to record this one?
We were over there for 3.5 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there were another 3.5 weeks of pre-production in LA. In LA, yeah. We just demoed all the songs and finished writing everything, and
which is interesting, because I know you guys are kind of in that new wave of these bands that have this kind of classic sound to it, but also modern, right? So it's cool that a lot of you guys are making records the old school way. Like you said, it's a lot easier to just share files and somebody adds their part and then they send it back and stuff like that. So that's awesome that you guys are doing it the old school way. Having said that, you're the new guy, Jaydon. So, how was this experience for you? Any hazing that took place during the recording of this thing?
Oh no, I don't think there was any time for it. We were too focused on getting the songs out.
You'd already done a tour with us too before.
Yeah, we were kind of working out ideas even on tour. Yeah, earlier that year. So we had done 7 weeks in Europe before we even went to Australia. Wow. And I've known these guys for so long, and we were all roommates at one point as well. So it's all the hazing that would have been done would probably
happen well in advance, huh?
So probably would have been done when we were like literally living right next to each other.
Oh, okay. So you were saying you guys were on tour. Did you depart from there to Australia, or did you guys come home and then head out?
Well, we came home and we did like 3 weeks of pre-production, just like demoing all the songs. We actually had almost like 20 songs that.
Oh, geez.
We actually recorded about 20 songs over there and then whittle it down to the 11 that you guys have heard.
Okay. Now, as far as that goes, what do you guys do with the material that's left over? I mean, do you kind of put it in the archives for later use, or is it just never going to see the light of day?
We still have it. There's some songs even on this record that probably had been in the works for a while. Rebel Sun or
yeah. And I mean, we'll definitely go back and probably release some of that other stuff. We just wanted to make sure that everything fit together.
Right.
It was battle for best song on the record,
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and at this time, the most inspiring ones were the ones that are on the record now. Not to say that any of the other songs that we aren't also great songs, but in terms of just what we're all feeling at this time, those were the ones that were sticking out,
Yeah. Out of curiosity,
we still love the songs.
yeah, because you guys, again, going back to the old school thing, which I think is what makes the band appealing to a guy my age, which much older than you guys, is the fact that you also have that kind of old school way of sequencing the record, and also the length of the record. So tell us about that. Is that by design, or is that just the way it happens, with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a mixture of being able to fit everything on a vinyl. I think that was part of the, part of the consideration. Also, sequence idea. Nick had a big part in that, in the actual sequencing of the songs. He sent us a few drafts of just kind of what he was feeling. We were all like, yeah, this.
Yeah, I think we swapped the order of two songs and it was done. It wasn't a big argument, actually. Like when Nick to us, we were like, oh, that's pretty good. Move these two songs.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a collective agreement that was kind of essentially the sequencing of the record.
Right.
Yeah. Nice. I would have thought we would have fought over it more, but it was easy.
That's nice.
Nick did a good first draft.
So. He did a good job producing.
Okay. Well, and like you said, you had worked with him before, so he kind of knows, you guys pretty well, and probably knows how to, do stuff like that as far as the sequencing with a band like you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you guys think of being, as I mentioned earlier, I don't want to say lumped, but categorized as kind of like that new wave of the old wave, of the classic, rock sounding wave. What do you guys think about that? Is that at all even accurate?
I mean, I'd say that we all have huge influences from that era, and that's also music that we just love. Like, if we're going to put on music to listen to.
It's weird because I really love everything from the 60s till now, and I am influenced by all that stuff. Like, we love funk and we love R&B.
Right.
I mean, I like some of modern pop music. I mean, to me, I think we're like rock and roll.
Right.
And a lot of modern bands are just rock. They don't really have the swing or like the looseness that we have, which is why I think people associate us with maybe some of the classic bands.
Sure.
Right.
But I mean, the bands are comparing us to I love, so it's hard to get offended.
Yeah, I mean,
there you go.
Anytime you're a newer band, they're going to reference you to somebody too, know.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was sharing some video clips of you guys to a friend, and the one thing he said. Oh, there we go. I think we lost you for a minute.
Yeah,
it's dark now.
Oh, that was weird.
There you are.
Okay.
Got it.
So it looks like you guys are.
You're back.
Yeah. So I was going to say, it sounded like with you guys, I shared some clips with a friend, and the one thing that came to mind was like a modern Aerosmith. And I think and for him, that was his frame of reference, but I think it also captures it pretty well. I mean, because you guys do have, like you mentioned, that swing, those other influences that Aerosmith probably has as well.
Right.
I mean, that's a good compliment. I'll take that. Yeah, it doesn't affect me. Love Aerosmith.
I'm sure Mark would also appreciate the comparison because he loves Steven Tyler.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of hard to be offended being compared to some of your idols. So,
yeah.
Right.
I mean, as long as you're saying modern, because we are bringing in some other elements, I'm totally cool with it.
Now, at this point in time, I mean, you guys, fairly young band, but you'll have enough music that, with this headlining tour, I mean, obviously you got a lot of material to cull from. yeah, what needs to be in there in your minds, and then how much new material do you guys plan on inserting into this? Because you could still do a fair share of the tunes on here. I mean, you could do the title track, and then Won't Take Me Alive is also another great one. And then Coming Home, I think, would go over pretty well live. Now, I haven't looked up what you guys are doing on Setlist.
We've been playing.
Yeah, I haven't been looking up Setlist FM because I want to be surprised, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean those three are have been released, prior to the record.
Mm-hmm.
So those were obviously in the running.
Mm-hmm.
We're also playing Dirty Mind.
Oh,
even
wow.
played in Europe
before
over the summer.
Yeah.
Right.
So did he say Don't Put Out the Fire?
And Don't Put Out the Fire we added in as well. We're kind of like slowly throwing in an audible. We call them audibles, where we're just Mark will kind of pick one, whether it's Get a Little High or Satisfied or Rome or something. We'll just we know all the songs, obviously. So
yeah, and I think we'll probably start integrating more of them now that like the album's released today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
I think you
still got.
Right. And you guys still fairly new enough that you can, keep the fans happy by, you could do half the record, and I think it'd go over pretty well for you guys.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing at this point.
Yeah, we're playing about half the record. I mean, we're still playing for an hour 20, so everybody's getting all the songs they want from the first two records also, and then some new stuff.
So obviously this is a headlining tour for you guys, but you guys are like road dogs. I mean, it seems like you guys are always, supporting somebody, and you've done some supporting slots for some of the biggest names. I mean, how deep into next year do you guys look into being on the road?
I think it's probably.
I don't want to think about it.
You don't want to think.
Probably going to be nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole title of the record, Can't Find the Brakes, is essentially that. Is about us just constantly going.
You're like the Energizer Bunny of rock and roll, right? So, so the record, has an interesting cover. It's like done by a graffiti artist. Now, was that an original piece, or was it something you guys commissioned?
It kind of worked out organically, and for the most part, we played a gig in LA, and Risk was going to be there, just to hang.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed up a bunch of art that he had done because he's a fan of the band, and Risk is, for the people that don't know, is like one of the OGs of the LA graffiti scene. So he's been around a while, and he's very, very popular. He's done a lot of other bands' logos and album covers and things as well. So he's definitely well known in that scene. But he showed up to the gig with like some personal art for us.
And then like this huge Dirty Honey neon sign with like the graffiti on the back.
Yeah.
And we thought it was so dope that we were like, hey, can you do our album cover? And he actually, the cover you see is actually like these huge, what would you, not tapestries, but like these huge,
they're canvases,
huge canvases.
Oh wow!
Like for each one, like the outside of it, the back, they're all different canvases that he did originally for the record.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and ever since then, we've just kind of been developing the relationship.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's a good dude.
Nice. So, as far as things go, I mean, at this point, it sounds like inserting the majority or half the record into the set, which is great. I can't wait to hear what you guys, have in the set when I catch you guys on the 25th. One of the things that you guys have been on the road enough at this point that I'll end with this. You've been on the road enough that you guys have probably experienced some level of a Spinal Tappy type moment. And this is We Go to 11, so it does have a little bit of a Spinal Tap spin to it, taste or flavor to it. I don't know if you guys want to share a little bit about a particular Spinal Tappy type moment that you guys have experienced here recently.
So we had, for this tour to start off with, we had the bus pick us all up at John's house, actually.
Okay.
Our gear in there. And we made it about an hour outside of LA when like the tire completely blew on the trail.
Shredded just past the Grapevine. Actually, it shredded on the Grapevine, and we made it.
I don't know how we even made it. We should have died.
Bent the axle.
Yeah, bent the axle, and so like our tour manager had to spend like 3 hours. He was up to like 5 a.m. to get like a flatbed to come put the trailer on it and drive to San Francisco so we could do the first gig.
Oh, geez.
And then
talk
we
about
had
stressful.
Yeah, we had a lot of trailer issues. We also had like a bad bus driver like a year ago on a tour, and he put like the wrong whatever the brown thing is that goes on the hitch.
Yeah.
Put the wrong one on. And it stripped it, and our trailer fell off the back of the bus on the highway and like careened into a ditch. Luckily, there was nobody behind us at the time because it would have killed somebody for sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
In the middle of the night, there's less people on the road.
Yeah, right.
Oh wow. Last question. How do you guys keep sane on the road? Because I know earlier I had asked, what next year looks like, and you had said you don't even want to think about it. So what do you guys do to keep yourself sane while on tour?
A lot of weed. I've got my bike. Jaydon's got like a little scooter so we can get around.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, you kind of just adapt to it. It's not necessarily, I mean, it's an insane lifestyle in general. So you're kind of crazy before you start, and then and then you just kind of like accept that that's where you're at, and you make the best of it. You find some good food, you just kind of explore cities as you can, exercise, make sure it takes a little time alone here and there, because you're surrounded by people all the time.
All the time, man.
Sometimes you just got to take that little bike ride by yourself.
Yeah.
Go sit by a lake and just
get
let everything decompress for a minute,
Right. So maybe it sounds like it's like your version of rock and roll meditation.
Yeah. Well, I've been through the gambit of all the meditation styles, but that's long coming.
All right, man.
Yeah, the scooter's nice.
Any parting words before I cut you guys loose, and then I'll have you guys do a little bit of an ID, that way we can add it to the front end of this whole thing. But anything you guys want to add?
Just go check out the record. We're stoked about it, and
let's do it front to back.
If we're coming close to your city, come hang with us at a show.
Fantastic. All right, you guys.
Bring out some weed.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it is the Northwest, right?
That's why I'm saying it.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much, you guys. Take care. Have safe travels, especially considering some of the mishaps you guys have had on the road. So stay safe, stay relaxed, right? And we'll see you guys in Portland, Oregon.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.